Hello, people of the internet.
Ian and Joe here with the Something Vloggy CADW challenge.
Attempting to visit and film all 130 sites in the care of CADW in 1 year.
Today we are visiting Loughor Castle.
Once upon a time, Loughor Castle overlooks the River Loughor, a rather important road and a ford across the aforementioned river.
Now there are buildings in the way. This, of course, was all during the Norman invasion of Wales, but prior to the building of this castle, the Romans thought the river crossing important enough to build the fort of Loughor.
The castle sits on the corner of the former fort, and the fort now sits under the town of Loughor.
Loughor Castle was built as an oval ringwork, possibly topped with wicker defences, around 1106 by the Anglo-Norman lord Henry de Beaumont.
The castle saw a number of battles and was burnt probably during the Welsh uprising of 1151.
John de Breos acquired the castle in 1220 and added a less flammable stone curtain wall.
In the latter half of the 13th century, the castle was reinforced with a stone tower.
During the late medieval period, its importance waned, and by the 19th century the castle was in ruins and overgrown with ivy. So this behind me is the Motte, and the Motte is basically just a mound of earth. I know a motte doesn't look overly impressive, but you have to admire the amount of work that must have gone into constructing it, because it's an awful lot of earth to move, and they wouldn't have had diggers and things like that. That was all manpower with primitive shovels and things like that. There must have been a team of men working. They probably even got slaves to do it for them, but whoever did construct these, that was an awful lot of work to get this up. And not only to build it up, but to make it sturdy enough to be able to build things on top of. You can also see that there are dinks out the hillside where they've obviously taken earth away to pile up there, and they just cut and fill, so you've got staggered layers so that you have to kind of lurch up. But you've got clear sights over the surrounding hills, but you were surrounded by hills. So there was still plenty of places for enemy forces to hide. Okay, so we are at Loughor Castle. Loughor. I can't say it properly, there's a proper ch in the ch. But this is where we are, and it is a mound, and quite unusually it's got the tower still on top of it because it's been made of stone, whereas usually it's been robbed away or was made of wood, so it's rotted. So that's quite a nice little feature there, still sitting there. And you can see quite a long way, you can see to the estuary on one side, and you've got a look over fields on the other side. But you also might be able to hear that it's next to a couple of fairly busy roads. So it's noisy, but you can still hear birdsong, so that's what happens when the two worlds of nature and modern man meet.
Now this whacking great big lump of rock here obviously wasn't originally here. It used to be part and parcel of the building, but it fell off. Not entirely sure why, probably gravity. That has a tendency of making things fall down. Now the interesting thing about it is it's got part of a flight of stairs in it. It looks to me like the ceiling because they tended to build them in such a way so that it was a bit difficult to tell. But you wander around the other side and the question is answered because this side you can see does have steps, and they're proper steps. So if these are the steps, the other side therefore must be the ceiling to another set of steps. Unless, of course, there were very clever people who, could walk on ceilings. Can't see that happening somehow.
You've got this interesting little chute thing here, and I wonder if it's a waste chute because it goes all the way to the top of the tower, and it doesn't look like it was a chimney, so I'm going to go with waste. I could be wrong, it could be a murder hole, but I don't think so. It doesn't look murder hole-y enough, it looks more, shooty, like a shoot.
You can say what you like about the Normans, and I'm sure that the Welsh probably did when the Normans were invading, but they really did know where to put a castle to get some absolutely cracking views. And those cracking views would still be cracking views had people not built houses in the way, which I can understand why they did, because chances are those houses now have cracking views. Let us not fool ourselves. This is not a big castle. Basically there's the tower left and there's the motte, and I'm assuming that what surrounds it is probably a bailey, but it might not be. It might just be the Motte. I'm not seeing any signs that sort of say to me, oh look, that was definitely a bailey. The bailey being the big sort of surrounding bit. I mean, it could be here, but I can't see it. Anyway, it's not one of those places that you're going to go and spend an entire day exploring, which is kind of handy for us because it means that we can go on and look at something else. But it is worth coming and having a nose at because as a location it's fantastic. You can still see for quite some distance, but not a massive castle. So what do you think of Loughor Castle?
I quite like the fact that there's a Motte here and there's something on the Motte, because normally it's just a Motte with nothing on it.
Yeah.
And, stuff. So you get a tower and a view rather than just a view.
A bit noisy because you're surrounded by roads, but, on a beautiful sunny day like today...
Who's complaining? Apart from us.
Yes, who's complaining about the noise? Not us. Yes, apart from us. I think that's probably it from us here at Loughor Castle, don't you?
I think so, yes.
Anyway, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can find loads more information over on our website, which is somethingvloggy.uk. And if you want to support us on Patreon to make sure that we can continue to visit all these fabulous CADW sites, you can do that over at somethingsuper.uk.
You can. And if you want to get notifications, please don't forget to click the little bell. And I shall see you next time.
TTFN!